Good morning, everyone. I'm Councillor Les Fry from Dorchester West. My colleagues are...
Good morning, I'm Councillor Jill Haynes from the Chalk Valleys.
Good morning, Councillor Andrew Starr from Upton Litchett.
Thank you all. Can we now elect a chairman for this meeting, please?
Propose Councillor Fry.
I'll second that.
Thank you both. Right, we'll just go around the room to see who is present there at the moment. If you could introduce yourselves, please, so that your voice comes over.
Morning, I'm Laura Autry from Legal Services.
John Miles, Democratic Services Officer. I'll be taking the minutes for this meeting.
Lewis Wicks, Democratic Service Officer Apprentice.
Catherine Miller, Senior Licensing Officer and Report Author.
Stephen Newstead, Blue Cafe.
Thank you all. Right, good morning and welcome to this meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee. Today we will be considering two applications. The first will be a new premises licence for Blue Sky Cafe, 60, the Esplanade, Weymouth, Dorset, DT4 8DE. The second application would be to consider a new premises licence for 49 Cheap Street, Sherborne. The meeting is being live streamed and will be available to view on the council website after the meeting. By attending this meeting, you consent to be being filmed. Can I remind everyone that when you're speaking, please speak directly into the microphones so that you can be clearly heard and seen. The Licensing Subcommittee is not a public meeting, but a meeting to which the public is invited. All attendees must comply with the ruling of the chair. They must not interrupt the meeting or cause undue disturbance. Those that have made requests to speak on this application must only speak when asked by the chair. So we have introduced everybody here. The procedure for the meeting will be the licensing officer will be asked to outline the details of the application. The applicant or their representative will then be invited to present their case. The subcommittee members will be invited to ask questions. The responsible authorities will be invited to address the subcommittee on any relevant matters they have made, but there are no responsible authorities in attendance today. I may then allow opportunity for questions. The chair will ask any person who has made a representation has also expressed a wish to do so to address the subcommittee. All parties will be given the opportunity to sum up their case. The chair will ask the legal advisor if all relevant points have been addressed before advising all parties present that the subcommittee will withdraw from the meeting to consider its decision in private. The subcommittee will be accompanied by the Democratic Services Officer, and the legal advisor can be called upon to offer legal guidance. The chair will advise that the subcommittee's decision will be confirmed in writing within 5 working days and inform those present of their right to appeal to the magistrate courts within 21 days of the receipt of the decision. John, are there any apologies?
So we have no apologies for this application.
Thank you. Do we have any declarations of interest? No. Right, for the application for the new premises licence for Blue Sky Cafe 60, the Esplanade, Weymouth, DT4 8DE, we'll now ask the senior licensing officer to outline the details of the application.
Thank you, Chair. So, as you said, this is a new application for Blue Sky Cafe in Weymouth. The original application was for alcohol sales for consumption on and off the premises, Monday to Sunday from 9 a.m. till midnight, and recorded music indoors from Monday to Sunday, again 9 a.m. till midnight. Although recorded music has been applied for, the Live Music Act 2012 allows that any premises with a licence for consumption of alcohol on the premises can have live amplified music and recorded music between 0800 and 2300 without a licence, providing there are no more than 500 people. The Live Music Act also states that any conditions relating to any of this entertainment would not have any effect between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. Dorset Police requested a number of conditions to be added to the licence if it were to be granted, which the applicant has agreed to, and these conditions can be found at Appendix 2. Environmental Protection also requested a number of conditions to be added, again if the licence was to be granted, which again the applicant has agreed to, and these conditions can be found at Appendix 3. There were 2 relevant representations received, one from a member of the public and the other was from Weymouth Town Council. The representations were made on the licensing objective of the prevention of public nuisance. An email was sent by licensing to the interested party and Weymouth Town Council on behalf of the applicant, addressing the issues raised. The email also contained conditions requested by Dorset Police and Environmental Protection. The applicant had also agreed to close at 2300 hours. Following this email, Weymouth Town Council withdrew their representation. The member of the public did not respond to this email stating whether or not their concerns had been alleviated. The options that are available to the subcommittee after they have considered all the information contained in the report, the written representations and anything that is said at this hearing is they can either grant the licence subject to conditions as the authority considers appropriate for the promotion of the licence objectives and the mandatory conditions, to exclude from the scope of the licence any of the licensable activities to which the application relates, to refuse to specify a person on the licence as a designated premises supervisor, or to reject the application. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Colleagues, do you have any questions for Catherine at this time? Thank you both. We will now go to the applicant, Mr. Stephen Newstead, to present his case.
Thank you, Chair. Just to say that our cafe will be trading in Weymouth. I've got a long history of licensed activity in Dorset. I've had a licence since 1998. I'm in good standing in the community. I've had no issues with licensing or the police regarding licensing. This is going to be a small 30 to 40 capacity cafe that will be trading most of the time during the daytime. The evening trade will be mostly during the summer in the peak months. And we don't seem to be going, we wouldn't be going past 11 o'clock with any licensing activity. If we were needed any door staff or anything like that, we'd be more than happy to supply those if that was an issue. And we're very happy to go along with all the licensing conditions that have been raised. But other than that, we have nothing else to say.
Thank you, Mr. Newstead. Colleagues, do you have any questions for Mr. Newstead?
You know that the biggest problem is the escape of the noise from the premise, and that is also a concern for the public. So I just wondered if you could explain a little bit more what you've done elsewhere, perhaps, and what you're intending doing here, just to make sure that the music and the noise stays contained.
So to be honest with you, we won't really have music that often. And if we do have an event, we'll make sure that the doors are closed and that the sound is made sure that it's not carrying anywhere else. I've traded in licensed premises for the last 24 years, and whenever we've had an event, I've had no complaints about noise. We're always very open to the community that we're in, and we would not want to upset anyone in that community. And if it was raised at a time that was too noisy, we would obviously stop the event and move forward from there.
Thank you. Question? Mr. Newstead, can you just tell us a little bit about your experience and knowledge in the licensing industry, please? Because I think that will reassure the panel and the public.
So I've traded and worked for Wetherspoons for, excuse me, for the last 24 years. I retired from Wetherspoons 2 years ago and am now a maths teacher, but I will be trading at weekends and evenings in the cafe. I've worked in high volume premises up to having 75 staff working for me, from Salisbury to Bridport to Dorchester to Weymouth, two venues in Weymouth. High volume food, high volume alcohol. Never had an issue with licensing before. My last premises was the Greyhound in Bridport. It had a hotel as well, so we had a 24-hour operation. So I'm more than aware of how the impact of a licensed premises can affect the community, and would hope to be able to work hand in hand with the community so that doesn't happen.
I need to say well done for retraining as a maths teacher. That's a really hard job.
Thank you.
I note that thank you, that was really useful and very helpful, thank you. I note that the objector here was concerned about the antisocial behaviour, and I think it's right that we do refer to them because that's why we're here today. Tell us how you would manage any antisocial behaviour and what your past experience helps you in this position, please.
So I've always treated any premise that I run as my front room, and therefore, if they're my guests and my hospitality is open to them, so they have to behave. They have to behave as my guests, and if they don't behave as my guests, then I ask them to leave. I've never had an issue removing anyone from a premise, and I've always followed all the licensing objectives. I feel that it's much better to have a safe and comfortable environment rather than allow people to take over and affect other people's nights out and behaviour. I think it's a contract between you and the patrons to say that if they behave and they act in an appropriate manner, then they're more than welcome to stay and enjoy the evening. We don't want anyone's evening spoiled. But I've always dealt with that. I've never had an issue with that whatsoever.
Thank you, very helpful. Now, there's a number of conditions that have been added to the licence either by the licensing team, environmental health, and can you just confirm that you're happy with all those that have been agreed, including I think the closing time was proposed to be midnight, it's now 11 o'clock, 2300?
We'll follow all the licensing conditions. I have no issue with it whatsoever. The only reason we stayed open until midnight was more to do with New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve, but that's no problem. And if we're more than happy, I'm more than happy only to work till 11 o'clock. It makes my life a lot easier.
Thank you. And anybody have any questions at the moment? Catherine, do you have any questions for the applicant? Mr. Newson, do you have any questions for us or the licensing team at all? Thank you. Laura, have we covered all the points that you need covered?
Are you going to go through the summing up process? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So reverse first, Mr. Newson, would you like to sum up?
So it would be fantastic if you could grant the licence. It's going to be a family business. My sons are going to work there as well. So we really want to be embedded in the community in Weymouth, as I have been for the last 25 years, and want to improve the community of Weymouth and the seafront area. So it would be really nice if we could put a cafe there and improve the environment and bring footfall back to the seafront in Weymouth.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Catherine?
Nothing for me, thank you, Chair.
Laura, are you happy? Right, thank you. Now, thank you for coming on, Mr. Newstead. You will hear from us, as we said, within the period of time, and you have a case you can apply. If you're not happy with the decision, you can appeal against that decision. We will now retire and consider our decision on this matter, and then come back here shortly for the second application. Thank you all. Thank you for listening.
to speak and then press it again.
Good morning, everyone. Can I just check whether this meeting is reconvened because it was adjourned shortly? Were you upstairs and did you hear us introduce ourselves, or would you like introductions again? You did hear. Thank you. Right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for waiting. We're now moving on to the agenda item 5 to consider the new premises licence for 49 Cheap Street, Sherborne. As we've all introduced it, well, I'm going to ask yourselves to introduce yourselves because then you come up on camera and people see who you are.
Rachel Squibb and
Leighton Ford.
And
Steve Shield, Town Clerk, Sherborne Town Council.
thank you, Mr. Shield. We will now ask the Senior Licensing Officer to outline the details of the application, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is a hearing to consider a new premises licence application for 49 Sheep Street, Sherborne. The application is for alcohol sales consumption on the premises, Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. till 12:30 midnight, and Sunday from 9 a.m. till 22:30. Recorded music, indoors and outdoors, Monday to Sunday, 0800 to 2300 hours. Live music, indoors and outdoors, Friday to Saturday, 2000 hours to 22:30, and on Sunday, 12 to 22:30. Although live and recorded music has been applied for, the Live Music Act allows that any premises with a licence for consumption of alcohol on the premises can have live amplified music and recorded music between 0800 and 2300 without a licence, provided there are no more than 500 people. The Live Music Act also states that any conditions relating to any of this entertainment would not have an effect between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. Dorset Police requested a number of conditions to be added to the licence if it were to be granted, which the applicant has agreed to, and these conditions from the police can be found at Appendix 2. Environmental Protection also requested a condition to be added to the licence if granted, again which the applicant has agreed to. And this condition is activities relating to the on-site disposal of glass, including placing into external receptacles and bottles and recycled materials. This condition can be found at Appendix 3. There were 5 relevant representations received from members of the public, including one from Sherborne Town Council. The representations were made on the licensing objective, the prevention of public nuisance, prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, and the protection of children from harm. Some of the representations contain references as to whether there is a need for another similar premises. These concerns do not relate to any of the 4 licensed objectives and therefore are not a relevant consideration. The options that are available to the subcommittee today after they've considered all the information contained in the report, the written representations and anything that is said at this hearing is to grant the licence subject to conditions as the authority considers appropriate for the promotion of the licence objectives and the mandatory conditions, to exclude from the scope of the licence any of the licensable activities to which the application relates, to refuse to specify a person as designated premises supervisor, or to reject the application. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Colleagues, do you have any questions at this moment?
None of Catherine.
Not at the moment.
Catherine, just can you give me the times again, please, that have been proposed?
Alcohol sales is Monday to Saturday, 0900 to 12:30 midnight, and Sunday is 0900 to 22:30.
Thank you.
Well, I'll come back on. Catherine, can you just go through a little bit more about the live music outside timings and that sort of thing? Because I know that alcohol on the premises means that you can have the music until 11, but that is separate if stuff is happening outside, isn't it?
The Live Music Act applies, so where there is on and off sales, or there's on sales anyway, live and recorded music, and because the yard is included in the area, then they can have the live and recorded music up to 11 o'clock at night. It forms part of the Live Music Act. It's for things like pub gardens as well, where they aren't included in an area, so they can have that on the licence unless anybody makes a review of that particular licence, and then the conditions can be added then, but there has to be a licence review.
Thank you both. Any further questions at this moment for Catherine? Okay, thank you. We now go to the applicant, please. Ms. Gribb and Mr. Ford, if you'd like to present your case, please.
Yeah, we'll both be speaking on, if that's okay. We have a premises currently in the... Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we're just a family-run business. We have a premises currently in Abbey Road in Sherborne, and we're just looking to expand from what we've got at the moment, offering a bit of live music, food, drinks, cafe, basically, just offering good food, and obviously a bit of alcohol. We want to offer live music once or twice a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. But nothing too crazy, to be honest with you. It's mainly about the food, and that's it, really. We've got, between us, a lot of experience. Leighton is a general manager and has run businesses for all his life. Myself also, but I'm primarily a chef. But I take part in, obviously, front of house, licensing, etc. Yeah.
Thank you both for that. Questions at this moment? Questions? Can you tell me about your experience of both of you, please? You mentioned there, Ms. Gribb, that you've got both of you got a lot of experience. Can you just run through that for us, please, and where it was and what sort of issues you were dealing with?
Hi, Leighton speaking. I've been doing this since I was 19. I'm 47. I have started my trade in Bournemouth. I've worked across Bath, across Cheltenham, across Oxford, helped create venues in Soho, helped run premieres, movie film premieres, festival, gigs, you name it. I've kind of done it all. Started from the ground up with a mop in my hand, and here I am with a family of one other, and we're just trying to grow ourselves very slowly. We've come home to Rachel's hometown, and the idea is to raise our son there, but whilst we're there, we're going to do what we know best, which is to run a business and run it well. Yourself?
Yeah. So obviously we've been at Abbey Road in Sherborne with our food for two years now.
December makes 2 years.
Going into our third year. Obviously had no issues there at all. We've got a very good relationship with the school, who are pretty much our next door neighbours. No complaints, no noise complaints, no issues whatsoever.
Thank you both. Colleagues, any questions?
So you're looking to sort of get a slightly larger premise. So are you moving from the Abbey Road one? You're going to keep both?
The idea would be to keep both. What we have created with the current unit, the Hummingbird, it's very small. It's a 30 capacity plus venue, but the idea of the location has been a big plus for what we do. We're right on top of the school, so we've purposely managed the menu so a child at 9 to 18 can walk in and still feel like he's not being outpriced at any point. And it also rolls over to the adults where they feel like they can take advantage of a good lunch service. Rachel does the cooking, I do the singing and dancing, but at the same time, we just try and run a very simple family concept.
Thanks. So just to come back on that, and I'm sure it's in the papers and I just haven't read it. What sort of numbers of covers are you thinking of doing at the new premise? What sort of capacity are you looking at?
It looks at the moment to about 70, maybe 75 seated. This unit that we're proposing to build, looking at what the town itself is, it's very old. It's full of history. It's got an abbey. We're trying to add to the custodian lifestyle that the town has. We see it. We just fill the gap as best as we can.
Can I just ask you what attracted you to this particular premises in that particular area? That premises, what is it about that premises that you attracted to?
49.
Yeah.
The vision is to share the building. We have taken on our accountant. We have taken on our marketing team. We have taken on a few antique dealers, and the idea is to use the building as almost a co-living space. The antique dealers can sell their trades in there as best as they can. The local rugby team is filling the venue with all its memorabilia because we try and run as much community sport as we can. We run a 3 Little Bird program with the Sherborne women's rugby team. We run a, what's the charity we do with the school?
Andrew Strauss.
Oh, well, we do Andrew Strauss Cancer Drive for the Sherborne Boys School. We take on quite a lot of kids under, I'd say, 7 football teams, and we try and sponsor them with what we can whilst trying to do what we do. Everything is cooked daily, fresh by my partner, and that's how we try and keep the building working.
Yeah, I think the one, obviously, 49 Cheap Street is in the high street, so there's a lot, the footfall is higher. Where we are at the moment in Abbey Road is tucked away. It's like a little
alleyway effects.
Yeah,
to some
it's
extent.
perfect because obviously the size of the venue, it's quite small, but it's consistently busy. It's never,
Enough room. I
yes,
guess.
it's to do with the room, to be honest with you.
The location that you're proposing is opposite the schools for the boys' schools there, or they're not very far away. The boarding house. How are you going to stop the youngsters coming in, buying a meal, and then getting drunk or having too much to drink in there? And how are you going to manage all that? Because I know that's the fear of some of the community.
49 Cheap Street is further away than 1 Abbey Road. 1 Abbey Road, we're looking directly into, how would you describe it?
The living accommodation for
Yeah,
the children.
so we get to see the house masters on a daily basis on a high-to-high, and they come across and eat, and we run, as I said, we run a lot of programs with the school. We know the head boys from each dorm. As they come down, they introduce themselves. It's almost almost a wheel effect where each year the kids grow. As they get older, they come in, they tell us, have a good Christmas, etc., etc. The rule is you have to be of age to consume alcohol, and they know the rule. We try and be clever, sensible. We run little programs with them, man of the match. So we give them enough for them to respect what we do. So we don't overstep the mark, or they don't have to overstep the mark.
Yeah, I think our relationship with the school is very good. Obviously, with any underage issue, that we are doing a 25 check, etc. But yeah, there's never going to be an issue with noise or children coming in, because obviously we have the Challenge 25 at 49 Cheap Street.
And door staff as well.
Yeah.
Thank you both. There is some concern that people sitting out in the garden at the back might distract and might create antisocial behaviour or noise from the local residents. How can you manage that? How will you manage that if this licence is granted?
In close proximity to us, we are surrounded by a sanctuary, a barber shop, and the post office. Not much living. The closest would be the boys' school once again, and that's slightly further compared to the current unit. It's a garden space. Obviously, people raise their voices. We can always go and ask them to bring that level down. I think you have to speak to people to get some form of levels to where they're going. When it comes to the music itself and the levels the music needs to be, we'll do decibel checks to see where we need to be at and keep it there.
We are obviously with soundproofing inside, aren't we?
Yes.
And it's so true, but do you believe the outside is just an outside space for outside dining?
Will you be putting tables and chairs outside? And if so, how many people could you cater for outside?
Sorry. At the moment, it looks to be seating around 16 people outside.
Okay, thank you. I may well come back to that one in a minute. I'm just going to go over to Mr. Shaw from the Sherborne Town Council. Do you have any questions at the moment for Catherine or the applicants?
No, not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Then we'll invite you to have your say now, if you would like to have a say and see what you think.
Okay, good morning, members of the Licensing Committee and also those in attendance at the hearing this morning. I have prepared a short statement on behalf of the Town Council as well as a few observations. Sherborne is an historic market town renowned for its vibrant community, picturesque streets, rich heritage, as mentioned previously. The town is particularly proud of its diverse range of independent shops, which contributes significantly to our unique character of the high street. These businesses, some of which have been family run for generations, form the backbone of the local economy and foster a strong sense of community amongst residents and visitors alike. Whilst there are a few bars and restaurants in the town, the community does not have a vibrant nighttime economy or a drinking culture early in the mornings. This premises would be located fairly central on the high street. Sherborne Town Council would have welcomed the opportunity to have had engaged with some sort of meaningful dialogue with the applicant, as occurred with other statutory partners throughout the process so far. Unfortunately, such engagement did not materialise in this instance, obviously through the licensing team, meaning that the Town Council was unable to share its perspective and address potential concerns directly with the applicant at the earlier stages. The Town Council were also made aware of one of the existing businesses that will be directly affected by the licence application. Their attempts to engage with the applicant regarding their concerns seemingly to no avail. The Town Council does very much acknowledge the applicant's existing businesses' notable success in the community and supports in principle the new proposal. Councillors recognise the positive contributions that these enterprises have made to Sherborne and have expressed their hope that the new venture will prosper, bringing additional benefits to the community and the economy. The links that the applicant mentioned earlier in terms of the sports links are admirable, and it's very much certainly something that the Town Council would look to continue and support collectively. Nevertheless, the Town Council's objection to the application is based on two principal concerns, some of which have been discussed already, primarily relating to the prevention of public nuisance in terms of the licensing objective. Firstly, the Town Council is concerned that the proposed early morning and late evening hours for alcohol sales have the potential to negatively impact the local community and feel that the proposed current timings are excessive. Extending licensing hours, as we all are aware, may increase the risk of antisocial behaviour and public disturbance and littering, particularly in the areas close to the residential and commercial property. The Council very much believes that maintaining a balance between supporting local businesses and safeguarding the well-being of residents and other businesses are essential. The second concern relates to the potential for increased noise pollution resulting from the proposed use of the outdoor space. The council is particularly mindful of how noise from outdoor gatherings and activities could disrupt the peace and quiet enjoyed by neighbouring premises, both residential and commercial. Such disturbances may affect the quality of life for residents, as well as the day-to-day operations of neighbouring businesses. There are also concerns from potential odours resulting from cooking and eating on site, and the council are keen to hear and see what mitigation would be in place to combat this potential issue. The council notes the comments already provided by both the police licensing and Dorset Council environmental teams. It is disappointing that these statutory bodies have not considered the town council's concerns whilst considering this licence application. As a result, only standardised conditions seemingly have been applied by both the police and environmental health, rather than any measures tailored to address the specific concerns raised by the town council to mitigate noise-related issues, reducing the proposed excessive alcohol times and mitigation of potential odours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That was very helpful. I'd like to put your questions, your specific questions, to the applicants now, if that's possible, if you would like to address them with your specific concerns, and let's see what can be said.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, first and foremost, I think the alcohol times, I would welcome your comments about that. We feel very much that 9 a.m. is very much out of keeping for the town, and I would welcome your comments as to whether there's anything or any flexibility in relation to that key point. Thank you.
My key point to a 9 a.m. start is my walk in the streets. I'm up with the dog and we're out. I am up at night. I am up and I'm around. Where can we get a coffee at 8 o'clock? That's not a specific area. Or where could we get something to eat at a specific time? If I see the void, I will fill the void. The way I look at it, I've got one job, and it's to safeguard the town. And I also know how to feed the town, so I do the best at it. We do the best at it. We clean the building as we go through the day. You know who I am, you know how I am. I park in the car park under all of your blessings, yes? The town knows what I am and knows what we are.
Can I just come back on that one? So what the town clerk was asking is if there would be flexibility on the alcohol licensing, not the opening hours. So what we're looking to see is if you would be prepared to not serve alcohol at 9 in the morning, but perhaps bring that back to, I think the town clerk was suggesting 11 in the morning. Is that something that would be negotiable?
To serve alcohol at 9 in the morning, you have to be extremely sensible to who you're serving alcohol to. If someone wanted an Irish coffee, I will serve them an Irish coffee. I think that's fair. If someone came in and wanted a pint at 9 o'clock, we will say, this is a little bit silly. It's a bit early for 9 o'clock. Freedom is a thing for everyone to kind of have from small. As you grow, you need to also learn to understand how to use the balance of it, I guess. And you also need to be able to show people how to use the balance of it. I've worked in venues that are 11 o'clock, 9 o'clock to serving alcohol, but it's also down to the server to use a lot of discretion. We try and endeavour everything we do to keep the custodianship of the town. We're not here to get anyone drunk. We don't do drunk. We're more food than alcohol. The alcohol is not for you to come and have a good old party up.
Yeah, we'd say we are flexible.
But we can do whatever, but I'm just giving you the open reality of what we are, to tell you what we are. Yeah.
Thank you. So your mantra was very helpful. So you wanted to be responsible, but you felt that some people might want to have, as you say, an Irish coffee first thing in the morning. Our situation is that we have all of the public very concerned about the drinking at this time of day. And so we're looking as a licensing committee to come to a sort of a mean agreement that will mean that that you are able to have a premise that works for you, but also that we can give some confidence to the public. So that's our situation here when we're talking about a compromise. Similarly, the late night. Now, I can understand that you might want late nights on bank holidays and Christmas and New Year, but late nights till just after midnight on a Monday in February is probably not something that you want to do either. So this is why we're trying to just understand what your business is and what might be appropriate for you to be able to say, yes, we could give a bit here, and that would make people a little happier. So that's what we're trying to understand at this moment. Would that be fair, Mr. Town Clerk?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt at all that, you know, the food and the operations and the past experience that the applicants demonstrate is first class. I think you are right. It's very specific in terms of that alcohol issue that I wanted to bring to the attention of the chairman and the panel this morning, really. And it would be really helpful to potentially look at that in a little bit more depth. And I'm sure that would satisfy that point in terms of the town council's comments.
Can I come back on that one? So really, we're now at a situation is we don't want to have to impose this. It would be an awful lot easier if you just said we could come to an agreement on this, right? Rather than us saying, going out of the room and saying, well, we don't like that and we don't like this, so we're going to tell you, right? It's much easier if you say, well, we could live with it if it was like this. So it's over to you.
We're fine, whatever helps the town grows.
Yes, we're very flexible with the timing, obviously.
Our current unit has got a 8 o'clock license and we don't use it. We don't open till 4 in the afternoon. So we look at the town very carefully at what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine, would you like to come in and just comment on this? I think we're looking at moving the availability of alcohol, the way I'm feeling it, back a little bit in the morning. Your thoughts on that, please?
It is quite common for applicants to do a coverall licence, if you like. So a 9 a.m. start to or midnight will cover them for any eventualities, for instance, New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, or maybe even any sort of particular events around the world. It doesn't necessarily mean they will be open those hours, but obviously that's down to the applicant. They've got the facility to do it, rather than at a later stage having to apply for a temporary event notice, which would override any conditions on that particular licence if there were to be any granted. So that it's quite a common thing for people to go over what they need and not necessarily use it. Like you were saying earlier, your 8 o'clock start, they don't open at 8 or use the alcohol at 8.
Thank you, Catherine. Andrew, did you want to comment a moment?
Just to mention that you said yourself that if somebody comes in at 8 o'clock in the morning and wants a pint, then you're rather reluctant to serve them. Surely, if you could just say, sorry, we haven't got a licence for this time in the morning, it'd help you, wouldn't it?
Sorry, but that then takes away from if someone comes in and go, may I have an Irish coffee? I turn them down as well. We're happy to do what's best, as I said, for the town. But as we're sitting here at a license, we're just trying to cover all the bases. So if we have a private function that needs to be run from 9 in the morning and we close the door to 60 people, they should be able to have what they need, not be able to be restrained until 11 and being held in that building until then. They should have that freedom. Thank you.
Mr. Town Clerk, would you like to come back? You've heard the discussion, you've heard Catherine, the licensing officer's thoughts on that this is really a coverall and in the exceptional circumstances rather than the norm for serving it. Do you have a thought or comment on that?
Mr. Chairman, I think I can only look at the facts. I think hearsay can slightly distort the matter. Whilst I respect the applicants and the comments from the room, I think the Town Council would seek assurances that we've put that point across as being a concern, because obviously inevitably if it was allowed to be permitted, we could see a change of habit potentially in the town. I'm not aware of organisations or functions that potentially would want to drink at that time of the morning, to be quite honest. And I think it's just a point that I want to put across, really. As I say, we can be as flexible as we can, and we welcome the deliberation with the applicants, because obviously deep down we want to support them and make sure that they are successful. But we are representing obviously the residents and the businesses of the town with our comments, and this is a good opportunity for us to raise them. I think that's all I will say at the present time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would you like to raise your next question or concern, or just let Pat have a...
The second observation relates to the outdoor space, and I welcome, obviously, again, the comments have been made by the applicants in terms of potentially just a dining experience. I think there has been some strong concerns expressed by fractions of the community in terms of potential noise disturbances, without knowing the full facts of obviously what may or may not take place within that outdoor space, really. But that is the second point that we want to highlight. There are potentially issues with noise pollution. Obviously, this is a slightly different location to the current business. The high street is very much made up of predominantly retail. Obviously, we've got some bars and food provision at the top and the sort of bottom of the high street itself, but this is fairly central, as suggested, and there are 3 businesses that have been mentioned, obviously, this morning, one of which do have concerns in terms of their business and what they operate in terms of those potential noise issues. Obviously, I mentioned the odours because obviously of cooking and potentially eating that could spread as well, really. So those are in the thrust, the kind of key points to our concerns at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there many residents actually overlooking the garden of this property that you're aware of? Actually, I'm talking in immediate vicinity.
I mean, as I say, Cheap Street is predominantly retail industry. There are lots of residential properties above many of these shops on Cheap Street, potentially directly and indirectly affected by these sorts of applications, to be honest. So yeah, we've got a situation where obviously people come and go, and obviously plenty of residential and commercial amenity across the whole of the high street in that sense.
Thank you. And I think high streets are changing as property owners now try and get the best out of their properties. There's going to be a mix of retail and residential, which is going to cause a rub in many of the towns across not only Dorchester, Dorset, Sherborne, the country across that as we sit on down. Do you two have a thought if there was a time put on it? Because I can imagine that in a quiet, lovely summer's evening, people sitting outside, chatting away, 16 people sitting outside, the noise could carry on all night. Do you think it would be appropriate to put a time on that time when people would need to come inside?
Yeah, you can put an 11 o'clock time on it, a sensible time to start getting people inside. Regard to residential, if we go back to One Abbey Road, we have residents above us, and we have residents to our left and to our right. We have closer residents on One Abbey Road compared to our current unit. 49 Cheap Street, the garden space, yes, we'll ring that bell, get them in at 11. Yeah.
It's a nice garden. It's like a hidden secret garden,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's not
very
overly
lovely.
big, but we just want to take advantage of a nice outside space where you can dine, because there's not that many places in the town where there's an outside eating area. So
There's one other.
yeah.
It's high walls all round. All we have above us are 4 windows of a sanctuary.
Which we believe that the business is closed at 6.
And from 6 in the evening onwards, that particular business would be closed. So we have looked at why that unit is right for us. We have looked at what times that unit would need to best be open. We have looked at how best to use certain areas and who it would affect and who it wouldn't affect, and how to try and control the noise, the crowd, and the movement of the building as best as we can, as we've done with the previous. Thank you.
Thank you. Your description of the garden is very helpful, thank you. And it sounds a very nice area, but with the high walls and the property around it, that could also be a noise increaser, amplifier. 16 people having a lovely evening out on a summer's evening could be quite noisy out there. I'm thinking that 2300 might be a bit late there for that, and 22 might be more appropriate.
Yeah, we can roll with that.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the garden is just an additional
It's an
space.
extension.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an
But we don't
extension.
expect people to be causing much noise out there. They'll be dining. There's a sort of casual dining, drinks, nothing, untoward like that. Just additional dining area.
Thank you.
I think also there is, I understand you're looking to have perhaps live music a couple of times a month. And if that's inside and the doors are open to the garden, then that also can be more noise than people are used to in the area. So possibly getting those doors closed to keep the music noise in might be helpful as well. So I think with what we've said so far, that possibly if we went to 22 and then the doors had to be closed, whether you've got music or not, and that would possibly help with some of that noise issue.
Would that work for you, potentially, if this license is granted?
That works for us.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's fine. Yeah, like I said.
Town Clerk, would those sort of considerations work for you?
Yeah, I think they would, and I'm very grateful for that flexibility. And I think the suggestion of that review period would be useful for all parties involved, to be honest, in the future.
And thank you. Do you have any other points you'd like to bring to the attention of the panel this morning?
No, thank you. That's all.
Catherine, you've heard the discussion and the debate. Do you have any comments to make or suggestions otherwise?
Just one observation. The closing of doors to so music isn't heard outside, that can only take effect from 2300 hours because of the Live Music Act. So anything inside, the doors and windows to be closed from 1100 onwards, because otherwise it doesn't have an effect because the conditions don't come into being.
It is what it is, as they say there. Do you have any further questions for the applicants at the moment?
No, thank you.
Panel, do you have any questions for the applicants at this time? Catherine, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Squib, Mr. Ford, do you have any questions for anybody here, for the Town Clerk, or anything that you'd like to say at this moment? I will give everybody the opportunity to sum up in a minute, but do you have any questions or concerns or points you want to raise? Okay, we're going to go round and sum up. If you've got no further questions, colleagues, happy with what you've...
I'd just like to clarify.
Hang on.
You did say 1100 just now. You mean 2300? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Town Clerk, would you like to sum up now this afternoon? We're going in reverse order, so if you'd like to sum up this morning.
No, just thank you for the opportunity to make comment and representation on the application this morning. I trust that the licensing panel will take on board, obviously, the concerns that have been expressed by the Town Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to sum up yourselves now?
Yep, obviously we just like thank you, and just to sum up, we are just applying for a license to
Grow the town,
just,
grow ourselves,
help
and
grow the community,
future.
provide some good food in Sherborne, some more good food, obviously, and yeah, just a bit of light entertainment.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Catherine?
No, nothing further for me. Thank you, Chair.
Laura, have we covered everything now that we need?
Yes, Chair, I think you've covered everything.
Perfect, thank you. Well, thank you all for coming this morning. We really appreciate it, and I think it's been a very useful and helpful debate, discussion of this application. We will now retire and consider the decision of this panel with the legal representative. Sorry? Yeah. The decision will be out within 5 working days, and you have the opportunity to appeal against that decision if you're unhappy with it within 21 working days. Is that okay? Thank you for your time. Have a good day and safe journey home.
And thank you for coming, because just having people before you makes it a much easier system for us. Really, it makes it much easier for us if we have the applicant with us. Sometimes we don't even get the applicant, so it's much easier for us to consider what you're trying to do and what happens next.